And we're live.
Awesome.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. We're just going to wait 1 or 2 minutes to let everybody get settled and join properly, and then we will go ahead and get started. For the time being, if you want to chat with us using the chat bubble, we'd love to know where you're joining us from, what kind of work you're scheduling and time tracking for. It's always really interesting and helpful for everyone just to get to know each other a bit better before we go ahead and get started. Cara and we work with the onboarding team here at When I Work. We have seen so many different companies. We've chatted with hundreds of users and use cases and managers and employees. So we've probably seen a use case similar to one that you're trying to build out today. And we're really excited to help you get started. Again, we are just going to wait 1 or 2 minutes before we do get started. So feel free to chat with us as we pass the time, and then we will get started in about 1 or 2 minutes. Wow, everyone chatting with us. Thank you. I just opened the chat. I was a little slow. Welcome, everybody. We have James from Dallas, Frida from Savannah, Georgia, with an animal hospital. We schedule for a lot of animal hospitals. I've seen a ton of use cases for animal hospitals, so welcome. And welcome, Barbara from San Diego. I was just in San Diego. Beautiful.
Love San Diego.
Kevin with EcoMaids from Georgia. Welcome, everybody. I see a ton of companies similar to like maid services or cleaning companies. Again, we've got some pretty great use cases for you all as well. Thanks everyone for chatting. It's just a great way to pass the time. Junk hauling company, so many of these kind of companies, so welcome. Great. Wonderful. Again, we've seen so many different types of companies. We don't just schedule for one specific type of company or use case. We can pretty much find a use case for most companies that chat to us. So definitely we'll be able to help everyone out. It's just so interesting how many use cases we have today. It's really great. Dog walkers, scheduling boat inspectors. It's just very cool. Such a cool job that we get to see so many different types of companies out there and help so many people. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for chatting with us. It just makes me so happy at the beginning of our webinar session to get to know you all a bit better before we go ahead and get started. It looks like most people have joined, but maybe 1 or 2 stragglers will jump on, but that's all right. I want to make the use of our time here. So welcome again, everybody, to the live Q&A. We're so happy to have you all join, and we're really excited to help you get started with When I Work. So during the next 30-ish minutes, we are going to be answering your When I Work questions. We're going to show you some ways that you can save time scheduling, cut down on overtime costs, and cut down the time it takes you to run your payroll. But the content, it is going to be directed by the questions that you all ask. So the questions are going to be flowing in, and we're going to get to as many as we can, we promise. But if your question doesn't get answered or you have more questions as you get started, you can always chat with us to get all of your questions answered. And we're going to go over how you can actually get in contact with us via all of our channels during the webinar and then at the end. So stick around till the end for our little resource packet that we've built for you all. If you're totally new to When I Work and checking out your new account and the different plans that we offer, we are going to outline those plans and how you can upgrade your account if you like the tools that we're going to show you. If you are joining us to ask questions from your existing account, you are welcome as well, and we're happy to have you. If you're already just kind of moving and grooving with your When I Work account, you're welcome to ask questions here as well. So with that, we can go ahead and get started. The way that this session works is we're gonna stop using that Q&A where we or the chat where we kind of got to know each other, and we are gonna be using the Q&A button. It's just outlined on the screen. Use that button to pop all of your questions in there. Cara is going to be scrolling through, grabbing as many as she can. She might reorganize them based on where we are in the product to make this session flow, but we will try to get to everybody's questions. So pop your questions in there, and I'm going to be sharing my When I Work screen and giving you a short demo of the answers to the questions that you asked today. So now the moment of truth that I flip my screen over, and I will be showing you my When I Work account. So I am logged in right now as a manager / main admin of this account, essentially just the highest access level or the person that created the When I Work account that you're in. Your employees will actually see a pretty similar view to this if they are logged in on their computer, but they won't have access to things like creating the schedule, seeing any information that they shouldn't, or changing any information within the account. But the main setup will look very similar to them as well. So it's just nice to know what your employees might be seeing when they log in. The main menu bar up here is where you'll be able to navigate to all the different portions of your When I Work account, like the attendance tool and the in-app messaging system called WorkChat. And then on this right-hand side menu bar, this is where you can change things like any settings or add in any information into your account, like employees, positions, and shift templates, things like that. So with that, we can just go ahead and get started with questions.
Yeah, it looks like we already have some great questions coming in. This one is from Ashley. She said that she just started an account and wants to know the difference between schedules and job sites.
Awesome question. Nice to meet you, Ashley, and thanks for your question. This is a great question to just start us off kind of explaining the different parts to When I Work. So I'll explain the difference between a schedule and a job site, and then also give a little bit more of a background on how shifts work and how you can enter information into your account just as you get started. So the difference between a schedule and a job site, it really depends on your use case and your setup for your specific company. We actually do have an entire help article that outlines when you should use a schedule and when you should use a job site to designate locations or to split up your workplace. So you can actually navigate to that via this little Need Help tab and just search schedules versus job sites and it will come up. But to answer your question, again, it really just depends on your use case. So just a background of what these two different tools are. A schedule is basically just a whole combination of all of your employees assigned to that schedule and then all of their shifts on that schedule scheduled at that location. You can toggle between your different schedules on the left-hand side here. So you can toggle between the different schedules that you have within your one account. And you can create as many schedules as you need and toggle between them here. Your schedule is a really good use case if you have maybe a different location for your workplace. You have 3 retail locations, 2 coffee shops, for example. This is a really great way to split up those different set locations within your account. So if you do have multiple locations, like set locations, 3, 2, 3, 4 locations, that's a great use case for multiple schedules. And again, you are assigning all of the employees that are eligible to work at those locations onto the schedule. So you can have some employees that overlap, or you can totally split up your employees between those schedules. Another great use case for using multiple schedules would be maybe splitting up your workplace into departments or teams, because you can actually assign a certain supervisor just to manage those departments or just to manage those teams. So if you do have a use case where you might want to split up your schedules by teams or departments or groups, and then designate one supervisor to take care and to manage those groups, that's a great use case for multiple schedules as well. And then job sites is a similar tool where you can indicate locations or things like locations, but they're actually just assigned to specific shifts. And you can use these across if you have one schedule or multiple schedules. or you don't have to use any schedules, just your one main schedule, and just use job sites. So job sites is going to be a tag or an assignment onto a shift. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this shift here. You can see the anatomy of a shift or a unit of time that your employees are asked to work at your workplace. Pretty much you'll just have to enter the start and stop time, a position, so the qualification of the shift that's assigned, and then you can also add the job site tag. The job site tag is really great. I do know that we had somebody that was scheduling a maid service. If you are scheduling a service with a ton of remote job sites, clients, ton of client locations, and maybe even a security company would be a good use case for this, I would use the job site tag. You can tag your shifts to those specific locations, whether it be clients, buildings, homes, locations with just an address, that's fine. But it just essentially shows your employees where they need to go for that specific shift. So once I do add this location into this shift, you can see here when you hover over it that it is at location A. And then again, when I did choose my job sites, I have a ton of different use cases for these job sites as well. Again, it is just a special assignment for your shift, so you can add it for locations, clients, even assigning equipment to different shifts, assigning projects. That is all a great use case for job sites. And another cool thing, if you are using job sites just within one main schedule, you can use our filter tool on the left-hand side just to filter out your locations or job sites. So you can see, you can get a better view of which shifts are scheduled at which job sites using the filter tool. Using this shopfront icon, hovering over it, this is where you can add in your different schedules and also add in your different job sites. So hopefully that gave a little bit of an overview of why you might use one or the other. But again, definitely chat with us further after the session and do look in our help center for that article. It has use cases for everything and it'll help you choose, but we can also help you figure out what the best use case is for you.
Yeah, kind of going off of the same theme here. Lisa has 3 locations that share employees at all 3 locations. So I think multiple schedules would be a great setup use for that. And then can you show us what it looks like when an employee is scheduled on another schedule to help prevent double booking? I think that would be really useful for this case.
Definitely. And we have a setup just so you don't double book your employees. So on these left-hand side here, this again is where you can toggle or move between the different schedules that you have built out. And in my use case for this demonstration, I actually have assigned all of my employees to both of those schedules. So when I go to my East End schedule, you can see that all of the assignments that I had or shifts that I had on the central perk with my other schedule do show up here on this schedule as well for the employees that overlap. So you can see it essentially is the same schedule on both sides. It won't have the open shifts as those only apply to the other schedule that I had. But any assigned shifts will show up, but it will let you know that it is on the other schedule. It will be grayed out. And then you can click into the cells for your employees and you can see that shifts that conflict with their previously scheduled shift on the other schedule are going to be grayed out. Shifts that do not conflict with the other shifts will be highlighted, so you will know which shifts you are able to schedule for that employee. So you can now see Chandler here on Monday the 3rd has one shift scheduled on this schedule that you're currently on, and then one shift right after at the other location. So we do make sure that you aren't able to double book your employees in that way. So never fear if you are using those multiple schedules.
Perfect. It seems like we do have a few questions coming in about how employees can pick up extra shifts. I think one of my favorite features is open shifts that allows employees to self-schedule.
Definitely. I will go over that tool. It is Probably, everyone always says that it is just like the coolest tool. It's new, but it's not totally new to, employee scheduling, but it is quite cool. And I remember when I was scheduling, when I was being scheduled for hourly shift work, I didn't actually have the option to choose shifts. And it's really, really great. It's great for you as the manager, throwing shifts out there that you need covered and having people grab them is a great option. And for employees as well, it's just great to have the option of grabbing a shift if you know you can work it. And we use the OpenShift tool for this more flexible scheduling model. So OpenShifts is going to be in this green section above all of the assigned shifts, your employees on your scheduler. So any shifts that are assigned within this green section are going to be called open shifts or unassigned shifts. So these shifts are essentially just not assigned to any specific employee. But when you do publish out all of those shifts, the employees that are eligible to take those shifts based on tags and positions will be able to grab those shifts first come, first serve. And they will be notified when there's new shifts, and you will be notified when somebody takes a shift. So everybody is in full communication of what's happening with those open shifts. It's not a secret. It's not, everyone will know what's going on with those open shifts. So, you have full coverage for your workplace. So again, when you do publish out those shifts, qualified employees will be able to grab them on their end. They can use their mobile phone, they can be on the go, they can see a shift's been published and they can grab it if they're able to work it. You can also turn on a shift approval tool on these open shifts. And this kind of gives you a little bit more management while also using the open shift tool. So if you do have an open shift scheduled out, and you click require pickup approval, this essentially turns on the shift bidding tool, as we kind of call it here. And it basically allows employees to sign up for open shifts and just kind of raise their hand and say, yep, I would love to work this shift. And then a manager will be able to go into the system, into the shift requests section, see all of the requests for those open shifts, and then pick the person that they want to actually work the shift at the end of the day. So that's kind of a great middle ground if you're dabbling in maybe using open shifts, but don't want to give away all of the abilities of your employees to just grab which shifts they want. This turns on a little bit of an approval or a sign up process for those open shifts. And this really helps getting the right or the exactly right person, working those open shifts. So whichever one works for you, it's really a cool tool to try out.
Awesome. We have a question about pay rates. How do I assign pay rates to my employees?
Great question. And this is a really good question just to be able to see how you can add and change employee information in When I Work. And essentially the way that you would do that and the way that you can see all employee information is actually hovering over the shopfront icon, or essentially the place where you can put all of your When I Work information. Click into your employee list. This is going to pull up all of the employees that you have in the system. You can always search for an employee up here. And then clicking into the pen icon here will allow you to edit the employee. You will then scroll down to the hourly rate section. I've just put in $10 for everybody, but you'll be able to set their base hourly rate. And then you do have the option to be changing your employees' hourly pay rate by their position. So if one position is paid a little bit more, or if you have a separate pay rate for maybe holiday shifts, night shifts, or early shifts, this is a great way to kind of manage how much your employees are paid for the different roles that they play within your workplace. And then this little section here, we can scroll down to all the different details of your employee profiles, where you can edit any other information that is part of your employee's profile. A really important section here is your assignment section. This is where you can tag your employees to the schedule that they're eligible to work at, which positions they are able to work, and then of course which tags or sub positions, I kind of call them sub qualifications, that your employees are able to work.
Great. And it seems like we also have a few questions about attendance and how attendance works with scheduling.
Awesome. I'm so glad that we're getting to this tool. It's just so wonderful when we can talk about kind of the full scope of what iWork can do for your employee management. So again, I'm just going to hop back in the schedule just to show a little background. So for those of you who are totally new and couldn't guess yet, the scheduler is where you schedule your employees, set them for shifts, and tell them when they can work for their shifts. Then we also do have the attendance tool in When iWork, and this allows your employees to clock in and out for their times worked. So this kind of, if you're going to add these two tools together, it's really going to streamline your employee management from kind of A to Z, scheduling your employees, finding out when they're actually working, having them clock in and out, and then producing that payroll summary. So it's really just going to be great if you're combining these two tools. I'm just going to hop into the timesheets to show the landing page of our attendance tool. This is where you can see where your employees are clocking in and out. You can see their times. They populate into the timesheets as they clock in and out. And then you can see all the details of the times that they're clocking for work. You can see how long their break or lunch was, where they're being scheduled and where they're clocking in and out from. So which schedule, which location or job site, and then the different positions that they're clocking their time for. At the end of your payroll period, all the periods can be seen up top here. You'll be able to close your period, and when you do this, it does create a payroll summary for you based on all of your employees' timesheets, times worked for that period. In When iWork, your employees can clock in and out 3 ways. The first way I'm going to show you will just be having your employees log into their When iWork account on a laptop, just like I am right now. They'll hover over the attendance tab and click clock in, simple as that. And this is using their personal computer. The second way is called what we call a time clock terminal. This allows you to lock any computer, tablet, or smartphone as a time clock kind of station. So here's where you can do it on your computer, just lock as terminal. If you are on a tablet or smartphone, you will be downloading the When iWork terminal app. And this locks the device as a time clock station where your employees can arrive at your workplace, type in their code or their email, and that will clock them in and it will populate onto their timesheets. The third way, and the probably most popular way for employees these days, is clocking in and out on their mobile phone. So I'll show a little bit more of a background of how you can set this up using the attendance settings here. I just hovered over the gear icon and I'm clicking into attendance settings. This is where you can turn on the different ways that your employees can clock in and out, and you can set any boundaries here as well. So if you do turn on clock in with mobile app, there'll be a big green button populated on everybody's home screen for their When iWork mobile app. So when they actually log into their mobile app, they'll just see that big green clock in button, and they can just click that when they're on their mobile phone to clock in, and their clock in time will automatically populate onto their timesheets that you'll be able to see from your end. And a question that does always come up, so I kind of squash it right away, is if your employees are using their When iWork mobile app, can't they just clock in when they wake up and they're in bed or they're getting breakfast with a friend? And the answer is no, not if you don't want them to. You can keep off any restrictions, and you can have employees, clocking in, using the honor system, or you can turn on location restrictions for your employees clock in. And this is just a great tool to make sure that you have control over your workplace, over your employees' clocked times without needing to be hovering over your employees and kind of micromanaging. When iWork will micromanage it for you. So you can turn on clock in restrictions for clock in, clock out, or either one. And then you'll choose the location or the distance to create your geofence, so the fence around the location where your employees are restricted to clocking in and out from. And the location will be the location of their scheduled shift, and it's either the address of their scheduled location or their job site location, which we went over earlier. So if you are wanting to restrict your employees' clock in, definitely think about using those job sites or those multiple schedules adding in those addresses, and your employees won't be able to clock in and out till they are on site.
Awesome. This time always goes so fast. So we have 5 minutes left, and we do have a few questions about plans that we offer and what's included in our plans. So I think it's a good time to walk over that and how they can chat with us after so they can get some more specialized help on setting up their account for their needs.
Definitely. We do have a lot of information coming your way, so stick around. We just have a whole onboarding packet and we have some slides with more information. So I do want to go over, since there were some questions about the different plans that we offer. So I have a couple of slides built out just for this. So we have really condensed our plans and made it really simple and easy to figure out which plan you'll need for your company. It's based on how many users you have in your system. If you have under 100 users, you will just simply be on our small business plan. It is going to include everything that we talked about today as far as scheduling and communication goes. This is going to help you, with shift coverage, team messaging, making sure that you're reducing that chaos while you're scheduling your shifts. It's going to have the availability tool, the shift tool, messaging, all of that good stuff is included in the small business plan. If you need any functionality that comes with the time clock and attendance tool, that will come with our attendance add-on. And this includes everything that we talked about near the second half of the webinar. This has clocking in and out functionality, mobile clock in, payroll exports, things like that. So if you need, for example, the scheduling tool and the attendance add-on, you will just have small business scheduling plus attendance, and that is your plan. Or you could just use small business scheduling if you have no need for the attendance plan. So we've made it really simple to choose which plan you need for your business. And you can actually build this out in your When I Work account. So what you'll do is you'll log in on your computer, hover over the gear icon, and then click into your account and billing page. This is where you can see what plan you're currently on, and this is where you can mock up the price and the different tools that we have, as well as your billing frequency. So this is where you'll be able to turn on scheduling and messaging, and then either add or not add the time clock and attendance add-on, and then add the amount of users that you need within your system. So it's very easy just to turn on that tool, turn on that subscription from your own When I Work account. And then if this is confusing anywhere along the way, or you need to consult with somebody on which plan you might need, or you need some help setting up your account, you just want to chat with somebody live as you go, we, of course, will be there to help along the way. You can always chat with us using the green chat bubble found on the lower right-hand corner of your account. It will pop up myself, Cara, or other teammates, and we will be able to walk you through getting set up live on live chat. And we can also consult on what the best setup is for you, what the best plan is for you, and make sure that When I Work is the right tool for you. If you have any other questions that you might just want to search on your own as you go, we have a fabulous help center. This includes just our ginormous database of help articles. I use this every single day. It's honestly fantastic. It's like the Google for When I Work. So you can pop that tab open and search for any article that you need, or help@wheniwork.com. And then we also do have a training and onboarding center within that Need Help tab. It's called our Education Center, and you can watch some employee training and some management training there. And this will help you get your entire account set up. So do take a moment to look at that onboarding tool before you get started. It will make sure that you don't get stuck along the way. And it's just a really great tool as you're getting your account set up. So definitely take a look at that. And we have linked all of this information in the chat bubble tool. So if you navigate to the chat, we do have all of that information for you. And this is kind of our whole onboarding packet, I would call it. This is going to include the link to register for your account, the links to our help center and our training center, and then any other links that help you get in contact with us. So if you have an account, again, use that chat bubble found within your account. If you don't have an account yet and you're kind of dabbling at whether you might want to create one or if When I Work is right for you, you can contact us at gettingstarted@wheniwork.com and we will answer you and we'll be able to help you out. So with that, thank you everyone for your questions and chatting with us earlier. I'm really happy to get to know you all, and we're really excited that you're getting started with When I Work today. If you have any questions, definitely let us know.
Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Great questions today.
Yeah, have an awesome start to your week. And with that, bye.